What's crack like? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. And today I give you my big board for the 2020 NFL draft, or at least how it currently stands. I'm going to include 32 players, which means all these guys I have first round grades for. Quick little thing, few players that have fallen off my board because simply they got hurt. Natane Moody, Fresno State's guard, he's gonna have surgery on his foot. I mean, it's kind of rough because he had an ACL injury last year, so I think that's gonna hurt him. I got a second round grade on him right now, so hope he gets better. Julian Akawara from Notre Dame, the edge rusher, he's kind of had an up and down season. I mean, a majority of his sacks this year, they came in one game, so it's kind of been up and down. He really needed to finish strong for the rest of the year, and he won't get that chance now because he is out for the rest of the season. So I got a second round grade on him as well. And then Jalen Reagor from TCU, wide receiver. He's just had a really bad year. I don't see him actually coming out this year now. And it's really not because of him. It's really the quarterback play. He's probably the fastest guy in this draft. He gets supreme separation. He's a really good prospect. I have a second round grade on him right now, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead. Let's get in. We're going to start with 32. I got Josh Jones from Houston, offensive tackle. The dude, he is graded phenomenally all year. He looks the part of a left tackle. He is built to be a tackle in the NFL. And I mean, the guy, he has supreme grades. Like I said, he's graded very well. And I mean, this comes in games against Oklahoma, against Tulane. And you may be like, well, Tulane. But I mean, they got a really good pass rusher there in Patrick Johnson. Patrick Johnson. So, yeah, he's a great prospect and a guy that he's got a Senior Bowl invite. He'll be at the Senior Bowl. I think he will help his draft stock immensely. He could be a top 15 type of guy when it's all said and done. And at 31, I got Cameron Dantzler, cornerback from Mississippi State. He's a big corner. He's 6'2". He just needs to add a little more muscle to that frame. He's kind of skinny. He's not going to wow you with speed, but he is shut down for the last 3 seasons SEC competition. The guy's phenomenal. He's got a big game this week against Alabama, so if he does well, then this guy definitely should be a first rounder. And then I have Tyler Johnson at 30, wide receiver out of Minnesota. The biggest concern with this guy is his drops, and the thing is, he has 5 drops on the season, which is kind of already a red flag, but 3 of them came in one game, so it's not like he's continually dropping balls. He'll have a random game here and there. He did the same thing last year where he just drops balls. I don't get it, but outside of that, he is phenomenal. He can be a slot. He can be an outside guy. He's good at the contested catch. I really like him as a prospect going forward. And then 29, I got Bryce Hall, Virginia's cornerback. Now, he is out for the season, and I have guys that have fallen out of the first round because they've been out for the year. But he could have been a first-round pick last year. He could have been the top corner coming out last year if he wanted to be. He didn't. He came back. His grade, he didn't look as impressive as he did last season, but he's looked still pretty darn dominant, and that's why I still have him up here. I think he's still one of the premier corners in this draft. He's ideal for a cover 3 scheme, like for Philly or for Seattle. So in my next mock draft, those are kind of like 2 teams that I've keyed in that I kind of want him to go. And then 28, Jedrick Wills, man, he's been phenomenal. He's probably the best run defender in this draft. He's extremely strong. He looked fairly good actually against the LSU, opposed to Alex Leatherwood, who kind of had a rough day there. But he's great. But we have seen run blockers fall, like we saw with Jawan Taylor from Florida. Everyone thought he was going to be a top 10 pick. He fell to the early second round. So that's why I have him at 28, and he'll probably stay there. And then Yatir Gross-Matos coming in at 27, edge rusher out of Penn State. He has looked great this year. He has 3 or more pressures in all games this season. And this is great because that was the thing. We wanted to see him continually produce because he's got the size. He looks the part. He's filled out. He's looking muscly. I love it. And he's finally playing like he looks, So he's definitely going to be a guy that a lot of teams are going to love just looks wise. And then at 26, I got T. Higgins, wide receiver at Clemson. I love this guy just because he's got great speed. He's a decent separator. He's really good at contested catch. He's really good at breaking tackles after the catch, even during the catch. But he's got size. He's got speed. He's just a really, really good player when it comes to that big bodied. So this guy likely going to be a late first round pick. And then at 25, I got Tyler Badaz. This guy, he didn't start the year strong. This is probably his weakest year out of the last 3 seasons. But he's still looking pretty darn good. He's ideal for a zone blocking scheme. So, and with Nate Moody right now out for the rest of the season, he's easily the top interior offensive lineman in this draft. And the guy is going to be good. He could play guard if they really want him, or if they really want to go there. And then at 24, I got Terrell Lewis, edge rusher at Alabama. After his performance, granted, he's played great all the year, and then his performance this past Saturday against LSU was phenomenal. He looked great. He's strong. He's got length. I mean, especially he's strong in the lower half. So, man, the dude, I think he is going to be a first-round pick regardless. And then at 23, we got C.J. Henderson, quarterback out of Florida. It's kind of hard to project him right now. I mean, he's going to probably be a Columbine darling. So, and he could come back for his senior season. But right now, I have him at 23. I think that's a pretty safe spot. He could easily climb, get into that top 15 mix. But dude's a playmaker. He's shut down. He's always there on the ball. He's not playing as great as he did last season, but still pretty good. He's been shown to get caught on, but he is there to contest catches. And then Ashton Davis, safety out of Cal, coming in at 22. I love him because the dude's a former track star. He closes in on the ball like nobody's business. And he's definitely going to be one of actually a fairly weak safety class. He is definitely there at the top. And then in 21, I got Javon Kinlaw, defensive interior out of South Carolina. This dude's going to be probably climbing boards. We thought coming to the year he's going to be a raw prospect, maybe a little work on his hands and technique, but the dude, he's looked great. He had a great showing against Alabama, and he definitely should climb up this board as well. And then at 20, Laviska Shenault Jr., Colorado's receiver. The guy's been good. Little red flags with his health because this year he's been banged up a couple of times, but he's a playmaker. He is a playmaker. He's going to be really good after the catch. He leads the college football the last 2 seasons in broken tackles for receivers. The dude's just a great prospect all around. I like him here at 20. He's going to be contesting another guy I like on this list for probably the 3rd receiver off the board. And then at 19, I got Derek Brown, Auburn's defensive interior. Everyone loves Derek Brown. My question going into the season was, hey, can he be a pass rusher? He didn't show that in his first few games, but he's really coming to his own as a pass rusher. He'll probably be the top defensive interior player off the board when it's all said and done, and I'll get to that with Marvin Wilson, why that might be the case. The dude just looks the part. He's going to be a great run defender, and he could easily be like the Dexter Lawrence of this class. And then 18, I got Marvin Wilson for Florida State. He's hanging on by a thread for me because he's really cooled off since a hot start, because the dude was collapsing the pocket. He was bringing the pressure, and now he's played more snaps than he did last year, and it does look like he's kind of tiring. He's slowing down. He's just hasn't done it for me last few games, so he might actually end up probably dropping probably below Brown and Kinlaw, but he is definitely a first-round prospect. And then at 17, one of my favorite guys in the draft, Curtis Weaver out of Boise State. The dude's unblockable, whether it's the outside, the inside. They've even just this past week, they dropped him back in coverage a few times. So I just really love what this guy brings. He's darn near unblockable. Granted, he's playing in the Mountain West, but even when he plays outside his conference, his play does not decline. The dude is a monster. And real quick, if you're new to the channel, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe, especially if you enjoy the content. And if you are in fact enjoying the content, leave a thumbs up, man. Come on, what you doing? It helps me get discovered, helps me out. But I got a mock draft coming out on Tuesday. Should be Tuesday, so be on the look for that. It's going to be the first round. It'll be a time and a half. I love the graphics. And later today, If you're seeing this video on Friday, I'm gonna be on Twitch doing Broshmo gaming, where I'm just gonna be kicking back, relaxing, playing some video games. And if y'all want to come talk football, come talk football. But let's get into the rest of the list. Here's the later half. We're at 16, and I got Trayvon Diggs, cornerback out of Alabama. This guy could maybe fall a little bit. He had a tough game against LSU, but I don't think it was enough to really hurt his status, because he has been shut out for basically for this whole season. He came in, he was one of my overhyped prospects because he got hurt. He only played 6 games last year, and everyone was talking to him about him like he was a first-round pick. I mean, he's got great athleticism, he's got great technique, really quick. He's got great size, but this LSU game really hurt him, and I think that's why he will be my 3rd corner, maybe in the 4th. I mean, CJ Henderson will challenge him, but at 15, Christian Fulton, cornerback at LSU, a guy that probably should be a little higher on my list and probably will be in the future. He's just a great, smooth athlete. He's been shut down all year. His one probably hiccup this year was against Texas, but the guy got hurt. He hurt his ankle early in the first quarter, so I mean, the guy was playing on a limp ankle and he still played extremely well. So I like him in this draft. And then at 14, Henry Ruggs, the 3rd out of Alabama. The guy's a playmaker. He's got great speed. He's a very underrated route runner. And I mean, him and LaVisca, honestly, I got them really tight when it comes to receiver rankings. You really can't go wrong with either of those prospects. Then at 13, AJ Epinesa, edge out of Iowa. He hasn't really shown the type of skill, the type of talent that we thought we would this season, but that's kind of what Iowa's scheme is. They kind of ask you to protect the run first, so we don't get to see that great burst that he really does have. At 280, he's got great athleticism. I don't think you have to kick him on the line, on inside. He can be an edge rusher. He can come in outside of the tackle. The guy's just a monster. He destroyed Cole Van Lannon this past week against Wisconsin. So this is a guy that probably will hover around that 10 to 13 spot for me. And then 12, I got Justin Herbert, the quarterback out of Oregon. Every NFL team will love this guy's size, his arm, his leadership, his intelligence. It's just he has a knack for, not showing up in some games here and there. He's been actually pretty good this whole season. Auburn, he was kind of like, opening of the year, was kind of like, well, Justin Herbert, typical disappearing act in the second half. But for the rest of the season, he's been pretty solid. So I got him here at 12. I think that's a good spot for him. And then at 11, I got Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle out of Iowa. I love the ceiling. I love the potential of Wirfs. His pass blocking has been much improved this year. We already knew he was a great run blocker, and for a man his size, he's got great athleticism, and that's what you need at the tackle position. He's a former wrestler. So at 11, I like it. At 10, I got Grant Delpit, safety at LSU, a guy that should probably be a little further down on my list, but I just love what he does in coverage. He's so versatile in coverage. He could guard the slot, he could guard the running back, he could do tight end. Shoot, you could throw him on the outside, he could go deep. The dude's just very versatile in that respect, but he's missed a third of his tackles this year, so that's very alarming, because like, for me, it's not a big deal if you're a safety with supreme coverage and you occasionally miss tackles. That is what it is. That's not really what you're going to be asked to do. But when you consistently miss tackles, then it becomes alarming, because, man, you're going to be giving up big plays. Like when you come up in run defense, man, what the heck, dude? Like, you can't let those guys get past the second level. So that's a little alarming, but that's something I think can be taught at the next level. So at 10, I'm fine with him here. At 9, Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama, a guy that has soared up the list. I loved his versatility right before the season, and I was very excited to see what he could do at left tackle, and he has looked great. He's got quick feet. He's a guy that you could plug and play from day one. He did have a little hiccup, a little bit of a rough game there against LSU, but he was facing NFL talent there, so he didn't look. It's not like he looked bad. He didn't look terrible. He did, for the most part, keep Tua up straight. And then let's go top 8, man. Everyone knows who these guys are. Let's start with CeeDee Lamb. Probably right now, he's played the best of any receiver in college football. A guy that could challenge Jerry Jeudy eventually. He's big. He's got good speed. I think he's almost guaranteed to be a top 15 pick. I like him. He's just been a playmaker all year for Oklahoma. And then at 7, I got Andrew Thomas, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. I mean, what's there to say about him, man? He doesn't get much to do, or he's not asked much to do in that Georgia offense. They don't really give how should I say this? They don't really give him the opportunity to be a pass blocker. But from the games I've seen, man, when asked to be a pass blocker, he has done phenomenal. He shut down Julian Okawara and Khalid Kareem from Notre Dame. He's played extremely well. We already know he's ridiculously strong. Got good athleticism. That'll make you a top 10 pick in the draft. And at 6, another favorite prospect of mine, Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker out of Clemson, and he honestly could play safety. The man's got safety athleticism with linebacker size. He's a favorite pick of a lot of people. He's kind of this new breed of linebacker the NFL is bringing in, that nickel to dime-esque linebacker. So I like him. I think he will be a top 10 pick. And then at 5, Jeffrey Okudah. Man, you know I mispronounce names, man. Don't come too down on me for that. But it's Okudah, and yeah, dude's been phenomenal. I say this all the time. My only question about him coming into the season was, can he turn those forced incompletions into turnovers? And he has done exactly that. I think hands down best corner in this class, and he should be a top 5 pick. And then F4, I got Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama, quarterback. Burrow barely beats him. I mean, he barely beat him this past week. That really wasn't a reflection on him. He had put up a gutsy effort against LSU with the limp ankle, but the guy's great. He's a great deep ball thrower. Just there's questions about his arm, his ball placement at the intermediate level, but he's a great decision maker. So the guy should be a top 5 pick. And then Joe Burrow, this guy out of LSU, man, he's been phenomenal. He's been the biggest riser on everybody's board, but I think hands down he is a first round pick. No one could debate that anymore. The guy's finally given the reins to the offense and finally given a little more freedom in that offense. And this guy, he looks like a Sean McVay type of guy. He reminds me a lot of Jared Goff, or at least what the things that people liked about Jared Goff coming out. And the dude, I think he's a better decision maker than Jared Goff. That'll make a big difference. But yeah, he's going to be the first quarterback off the board, and I think he's likely to go to the Bengals. But we'll see when that mock draft comes out. And at 2, Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver out of Alabama. I've often said he is probably the best receiving prospect since Julio, since Megatron. He doesn't have the size of those guys, but the guy, he's a great route runner. He's got good straight line speed. He had a few hiccups, or I keep saying hiccups. He had a few bad drops against LSU, but like I said, on that drop touchdown pass, he comes back the next play on a whip route, bam, touchdown. I mean, the guy's just great. And then at number 1, Chase Young out of Ohio State, the edge rusher. The guy, I often say he is a generational talent. We have not seen a pass rusher win like this. He wins over 35% of his pass rush snaps. That is unheard of. This guy is going to be great. Now, you might be like, well, won't this suspension hurt his draft status? I don't think so. This is the same thing that Todd Gurley got in trouble for back when he came out. And if anything, the dude accepted a loan and then paid it back. So you know he's a good and honest guy. Someone you could just trust, you can rely on. So if anything, I think it just makes Young look better. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, leave your comments in below. I know you're going to be like, yo, where's the running backs? Well, let me tell you, running backs kind of a disvalued position now in the NFL. So to me, you have to be a special type of player at running back to be a first round pick. We're talking Saquon, we're talking Zeke, those type of guys. And we don't have one of those in this draft. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me who's on your big board. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.